Hello and welcome to Inches and Cubes, episode number 5.
6.
Dang it! 6! Your Toronto-based Warhammer 40,000 podcast. I am, of course, Adam, the truest axe.
I'm Paul, Mr. Fist Paul Fowler.
And I'm Point and Click Nick.
Sweet, let's jump in.
That took too much.
Alright, so let's jump right into it. As per usual, we're going to do some hobby desk, general's armchair, and today's main topic is the Adeptus Custodes. Let's do a little review.
Custodes.
The mighty janitors of the Imperium.
Oh, come on. You're better than that joke.
No, it's a funny joke.
It's not a funny joke. You're smarter than that.
Oh, good segue.
The Roaring Twenties, a decade of dapper men and flapper girls. Nowhere was it more hopping than Windsor's waterfront. I don't believe that.
I can think of so many other places.
Gambling in secret, smoke-filled rooms was the thing to do. Oh, gambling in secret smoke-filled rooms. I missed that comma.
What secret smoke?
Oh, God. And speakeasies were the place to be. They combined raw excitement with the need to keep it hush-hush. Walkerville Brewery developed Easy Stout to bring that blend back to life. A pure, unpasteurized, easy-drinking milk stout. Let's give this a shot.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, that was a great novel you just read.
Did it say it was hoppy? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
Oh, it had a secret smoke room.
I had a hopped stout, and it was okay. Was that a few weeks ago on the podcast? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
No.
You drink beer with other people?
Yeah.
I thought it was the only one.
I mean, my wife, for one.
Animalizer?
And my other wife.
Oh, cheers, boys.
The one I had a baby with.
Right. Oh, that's okay.
I quite like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of sweet.
Yeah?
It's,
Light coffee. Definitely some chocolate in there.
Yeah, just all the right stout flavors.
this is a stout that people who don't like stouts could probably deal with.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is like I won't say uncomplicated, but
It's friendly.
non-confrontational stout.
Yeah, it's a friendly stout.
There you go. Apparently,
It's like this 6'3", like 250, 300-pound dude who's like totally jacked, and you're like, that guy will totally beat me up, right? That's like a stout for most people.
Mhm.
And then you're like, and then he starts talking, and it's like, hey guys, how's it going?
So
You're
Mike
like,
Tyson.
oh, this guy's like a really nice guy.
no, Mike Tyson has been convicted of multiple violent crimes.
But his voice.
yeah.
Yeah, and then they just like bend down and give you a hug, and it's like, oh, this guy's like really cute.
So The Rock is what we're talking about.
Sure,
Yeah, sure.
he's a nice guy.
The Rock's the best.
So we're drinking the Rock Stout.
Don't vote for him for president. That's what we need. More celebrities in office.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So how's everyone's week been?
It was good. We had a fun Hogtown event at Henderson's Brewery on Saturday.
Yeah, we popped out for a couple of pints, ran into a couple of people we knew. It was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't go, it was sad.
that's all right.
Yeah.
But I did a lot of painting, and I played a game this week, so.
Okay,
That's
so
awesome.
you got one up on Paul.
Wait, I mean, you did some painting,
I did
and
some
you
painting.
did the event, so.
Well,
tie game.
Yeah. Why don't we go right into the hobby progress? That's what we usually
Hobby desk?
Hobby desk. Yeah. No. What's hobby progress? Who ever heard of that? That's a dumb way to name that segment. With apologies to appropriate people. Yeah. So hobby progress. I'll just hop right in. I got the scouts. The head swaps were done. So they're sniper scouts with just regular Space Marine heads from around the range.
I noticed like a bunch of baldy heads, and like one's got the little
Yeah.
faux hawk.
Oh, everywhere I can stick a mohawk. If a squad can have a mohawk, one guy has a mohawk.
Nice.
And it's free in the codex, so I just go with it.
Like the mohawk upgrade?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a couple out of the Prospero box, like just heads that have been kicking around, because I don't like the scout heads that come in the box, because it's just the same guy like 5 times,
Yeah.
and it weirds me out a little bit. So yeah, I got those guys done. I cut the feed, the weird wires off of the the sniper rifles, so they just look like standalone rifles that aren't powered. And why would they need power? Did some bases real quick for the aggressors, and I think that's sort of it. That's all I did on Monday. Monday's now my hobby day, and I had a couple other like just life things to take care of on Monday. So I was like, I'm gonna like
At least did something.
yeah. So
They always do something, right?
yeah,
It's the P90X theory. Just got to show up. Just got to press play.
Yep. But with the heads, instead of cutting them flat, cutting like the rounded joint flat, I just drilled into them with like a big
Nice.
bore drill, and just like was able to sink them, so it looks better. It fits a little bit better.
Like their neck goes down into it.
As it should. If
Yeah.
you're wearing power armor.
Right.
Yeah.
And scout armor is power armor. It's just not as protective.
Yeah, it's true. And you're going to be able to run those as scouts and recon guys in 30K.
Yep. So
Which is
yeah,
really
they're gonna be pulling double duty, and they also are going to allow me to run a really cheap battalion in 40K.
Yeah.
Which is not. After looking at the Custodes Codex, maybe I'm just gonna go full crazy and be like the worst person I can.
Why not?
Yeah, and by worst person I can, I mean like run a battalion and maybe some Custodes.
Yeah, why not?
That doesn't mean you're a bad person. That means you love playing games. and
Oh,
it's gonna
right,
be
right.
fun.
Right. Cool.
It's not a cheesy codex. There's some good stuff in there, but it's not cheesy.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Adam, you got so much to talk about. We'll come back to you.
I'll go last. That's
Yeah.
fine. Just a reminder to everybody, if you want to see all the pictures, tune in live to the Twitch that we do every Tuesday night. For those of you out at Twitch already, they're basically where Nick's crotch is right now, just on the slideshow, so you can check those out.
The picture's not Nick's crotch.
I mean, we start getting more Patreon subscribers.
That's true.
We could do one of those cute little lewd.
Sessions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a lot of these.
Patreon only.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
You want to get a set of like Sisters of Battle Power Armor?
Sure.
Yeah, that's my dude.
So my hobby progress is I put a bunch of decals on the falchion. That felt really good.
They look good, by the way.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. I think my Forge World transfer sheet's getting old,
Oh yeah.
and we're talking like 5 minutes to separate. Oh, there's the
Once a podcast
Once a
tradition.
podcast.
Yep.
Turning off the air compressor.
We got to do something like the
yeah.
A checklist.
yeah.
But they're really having trouble separating. So I'm just like getting ready, and then I'm just sitting there and then just poking them with a paintbrush when they're in the water, being like, "Come on."
Man, like honestly, when they're being like that, don't poke them.
I know.
Because I have ripped a couple of Imperial Fist decals and just been like, frig.
I ripped one decal doing it. It was the 3 that you can see on the picture, and then with microsol and microset, it just zip back together,
Yeah.
and it doesn't even look like it was broken. But yes, I was just poking it around to see if it
Okay.
was not like poking it off the paper, but just seeing if it was coming off because it was frustrating. But yeah, microsol and microset again works wonders, and then did a little bit of weathering on them.
What's up, Joe? Thanks for the follow, buddy.
Alright, so just on the Twitch stream, a thing happened, and we heard Picard's voice. And Adam didn't tell us that these things would talk.
Yeah,
Thanks, Adam.
it worked.
You're welcome.
Yep.
It was funny, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Made me giggle.
So yeah, a little bit of sponge weathering and the coils, and then I got to do a little more work on that. It's almost done. It will be done by next weekend for the Horus Heresy event, where you might see it in a duel against a Warhound Titan.
Ooh.
And you might be fighting in between that duel as players.
I don't want that.
Oh, so it's not on your list. It's just going to be showing up randomly.
Yeah, it's just showing up randomly, but I want to get it done. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And then I picked up a D&D mini at, I'm sorry, Nick Wilkins, at Maple Mart. I went to Sword and Board. They didn't have a good mini. Maple Mart did. So I got a cool druid that he's supposed to be like summoning like plants, but I changed the plants into sand because my druid is from the desert.
He's a Sandman.
He's the Sandman.
Was it you telling me how you could only summon animals that you've seen?
Yes.
Okay, I like that rule.
So I like it was my first time playing, and I had to ask him. I'm like, so what animals have I seen? And he's like, oh, you've seen these animals. I'm like, have I seen a crocodile? He's like, you live in the desert. No.
Dude, there's crocodiles in places.
No.
What are you looking at?
I know.
What shenanigans are
The
you?
wifey's texting from upstairs.
Yeah, so that's my. I'm sorry, Nick Wilkins. It's a shame.
Hey, man.
Buying it at Mart. But that's my hobby progress.
My turn?
Yeah, guys, strap in. Adam's gonna be a while.
So, I had a whole bunch of infantry that I'm trying to get ready for the Horus Heresy event. This event has been a good excuse for me to be like, okay, time to clear out the backlog. And so I wrote my list intentionally so that I have to paint stuff. And so everything that I had built last week, if you guys tuned in, which was converting up 4 underslung suspensor web missile launchers, they all got painted. My 2 cannony things, launchers, quad launchers.
I knew what they were called. I was just gonna see what you came up with.
And their accompanying crew, they all got painted. And 2, are they the Vexillas that give you the reroll leadership? The banner poles? So 2 Vexillas.
Morale and pinning tests. Yeah,
Morale
not leadership.
Sure. And then 2 bolter dudes, and then a sergeant for my plasma squad. So it was 15 models in total. They got painted up, all infantry except for the 2 quad launchers, and it was awesome.
You're a beast.
Yeah. It felt really good to get it done. So all that remains is the Leviathan and the Dreadnought drop pod, and then some multi-meltas to put on my rhinos.
You better get that drop pod weathered up real nice.
Oh, it's gonna be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think next week I'm coming over and I gotta just put down base coats on some tanks.
Especially if you need them ready.
Well, I don't need them ready.
Oh, you just want to get it done.
What tanks you got?
I bought a Land Raider Crusader.
Oh, yes.
And I bought one of the nicest guys in the world gave me a Whirlwind for free.
Nice.
That nice guy.
I know, he's the nicest. So I think what I'm going to do with the Whirlwind is paint it up and kind of use that chassis as either a Razorback or a Whirlwind in my list.
Doesn't it have like the stabilizers as part of the hull?
Not the Whirlwind.
Okay.
Or maybe it does. I don't know. This one doesn't. And then I'm gonna maybe knock together 6 more Sternguard or 5 more Sternguard and kind of use them as a retinue for my captain.
Nice.
Sweet.
Or do some sort of shenanigans like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So the other thing I did was I also finally put some decals on all of my other infantry that hadn't gotten decals yet. Because a whole bunch of awesome people came together and gave me like 7 Space Wolf transfer sheets, which freed me up to do that, which is great because I only get 5 of the decals that I need on each of those transfer sheets. And so it was nice. It was nice to get a whole bunch. So finally, all of my vet marines have Luna Wolf heads on them, which is great. And then I painted a bunch of extra like bolt pistol holsters and just little pouches and a whole bunch of extra grenades and added them all onto my veterans and stuff as well.
You should just like batch paint a ton of those and just have them kicking around.
Yeah, just have them ready to go, right?
Yeah, I like the mounting on the shoulder pad for like pouches and grenades and stuff.
Oh, yeah, because that's exactly where you'd put it.
Yeah, I was like, "Bleh."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I'm gonna steal that.
Sure, go ahead.
Yep.
And then I just commission-wise, I started painting a bunch of Primaris Dark Angel stuff for someone in Hogtown.
Nice.
And got some good progress on them. Almost done all the base coats, which is the hardest part for me because it's so arduous.
Well, how come?
It's just paint. Like, the real artistry for me comes out when you're putting highlights down and having fun making the model
Yeah,
really
this
pop.
is just like technician type stuff.
Yeah, it's paint between the lines, like, da-da-da-da-da. So,
Yeah, that's the reason why I was like, I gotta come over and do the yellow.
yeah. Anytime, man, just let me know.
Just get it done.
You know where I live.
I do.
You know the door's never open, locked.
You probably shouldn't tell people that. Like,
On the live internet?
yeah. Yeah, but I don't know.
It is locked when we're out. We're just home all the time.
Yeah. And this house doesn't call the cops. So if you've ever, like, barged in, you'll notice that Adam's packing heat. So I can't recommend ever doing a crime here.
It's true. He's usually got a heater on.
Mm-hmm.
And I have lots of axes in the house.
More axes than most people.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
at least 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only got the one, and that's like kind of an antique axe, like a, more for show.
Yeah. Actually, I have 6 axes.
What the hell, man?
I have the 3 true axes, and then I have 3 axes in the wall.
Womp,
You have 3
womp,
regular axes?
No.
Okay.
I don't have any axes.
womp. No, 2 are battle axes.
I mean, I have a hatchet and a machete, but I don't have like
And a machete?
axe.
What are you doing with a machete?
I used to do trail clearing when I was a mountain biker.
Oh.
I have a collapsible baton.
I have a collapsible saw. It's really awesome. It's like a triangle saw, and it like all collapses, and you just like pull it out, and then it's like you can like saw through wood.
I have a collapsible chair that Paul brought over.
Yeah.
That's his painting chair. He's painting standing up now, well, which is probably better for all
It's
of our backs.
super great.
Yeah, Adam needs a stand-up desk.
I sleep like a baby. Actually, stand up with it. Like, all right, we need to.
Truck along?
Yeah.
Good session.
All
Games
right.
played. General's armchair.
General's armchair. I'll go first. I didn't play any, but I certainly did drink a lot of beer on the day that I normally play games, which
Yeah.
is Saturday.
Yeah.
We went to Henderson's. They're good guys. Like, if you want a nice beer in a brewery situation, I'd recommend them.
I love that they just let you sample their beers at will. You're like, I haven't tried that one. Can I try that one? They're like, here's a small taste.
Yeah, here's like 2 ounces of beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're good. They're also on the Beer Passport app. If you're the kind of person that does that, I can hear Simon skip 30. So I need to keep talking so he lands in some beer talk.
Simon stopped listening to us once he got his ITC points from our tournament. It's all good.
Yeah, you're just
That's
so
not
salty.
true.
Yeah, you're
You
so
listened to our
salty.
last podcast.
I know. I'm
We
kidding.
talked to him about it. But yeah, no. So that was cool. It was nice to see a bunch of people that I haven't seen since probably even before the New Year. So
Yeah.
that was just a fun way to spend my hobby time.
Cool.
Also, I found out that I'm going to be playing in Saturday's doubles event, so I wrote a list for that.
Took you a while.
It took me like a couple of days.
Yeah.
But, once I did it, I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. And I thought about bringing Custodes, but I figured with the Codex just coming out, I didn't know how to use them, and I don't have enough models painted.
Yeah. Yeah, soon.
Next doubles, I'm bringing Custodes.
Cool.
That army would be so quick to paint.
Yeah.
Like, you find a sweet recipe for the gold, and then you just boop, bop, beep, detail, done.
Dude, I'm going to have this done by, like...
He's already painted the Contemptor. That's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you practice the gold.
So awesome.
Yeah, Contemptor's done. If I need 2 squads of Speared Guardians, they're done. There's 3 guys with shields coming, a Vexilla, and then I'm probably going to grab 3 bikes and a squad of Terminators, and maybe the Wardens, because I like the...
You need to get 2 boxes of those bikes, because you need a unit of 3, and then some characters on bikes.
No.
You're not going to do characters on bikes?
Or I might only do characters.
Oh, what a guy!
I don't know. I might. Well, I'm going to grab the Forge Rolled ones and use those as shield captains and maybe buy a box.
Nice.
It's been an expensive month for models. I did my budget and I was like, oh no. So that's my games played. Adam?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I can go. Played my league game. So we're in, what is it, a 10-month league?
Something like that.
Yeah, 1 game a month
Yeah.
until September, October, something like that, for the local club. And yeah, it was cool. Played against a gentleman named Emil, and he played Chaos. He wanted to play. He didn't have as much painted for Chaos, so we played a smaller game. We played 1,500 points. He almost tried to get me to play 1,200, and I was like, oh, that's a little bit small. Could be 15. And And so we did 1500, and he just took a whole bunch of cultists, a couple units of chosen, and a demon prince, a sorcerer, and like a, what's the guy called? Champion of Chaos or something like that? The guy who lets you reroll wounds?
Oh, the Exalted Champion.
Exalted Champion, yeah. With a murder sword. Because Celestine's running around.
She needs.
So he tried to murder sword Celestine.
That won't work.
What do you mean?
Well, you have max 4 attacks with him, and it's just every hit does a mortal wound.
Max 4? He was getting more somehow.
Yeah, I mean, a Chaos Lord only has 4 attacks.
Yeah, but he was pumping it up on the attacks somehow.
I don't know. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
He was rolling like, he was rolling a bunch of dice with that guy.
Because I've seen it before. Like, I've thought about it before, and I'm like, even if you throw that guy, like, I've taken a Chaos Lord with a Murder Sword. I'm like, if I throw him at any other Space Marine, like a Space Marine character or an Imperial character, he's just going to get smushed. Because I've got 4 attacks. Even if I hit with them all, it's only 4 mortal wounds. I won't kill any character in the game.
He must have been doing something wrong then, because he was rolling like 6 or 8 dice for attacks.
No idea.
Yeah. Anyways, I tabled him. Right? It was, Sisters against a whole wall of cultists is, it's just game over, right? Just annihilated all of them, no problems. His obliterators dropped down. He did the shooting twice thing with them, and it was cool. It was cool, but everything's hiding in tanks, so it wasn't a big issue for me.
Yeah, and all you can hear is the like ignition of pilot lights on flamers. Where it's like, okay.
Yeah. It was surprisingly, his Demon Prince ran into my back line and really tied up a bunch of stuff. And I jumped out with Melt-A-Guns to go roast them, and they like, I had such a big problem. Like, they both missed, and so I like command pointed to hit with one because I was like, I got to do something. And then it didn't wound, roll 1 to wound. I was like, what's going on here? And it happened like 2 turns in a row because I also flopped I got a bunch of shots off with my Exorcist, and then like none of them hit, none of them wound, and I was like, what the heck's going on? So it just totally flopped on the Demon Prince because he left him wide open. He should have just been dead. Been dead, no problem.
Yeah, Demon Princes are not tough.
There's nothing more frustrating than when an opponent misplays something and you're like, I'm gonna wreck it, and you just can't get it done. Like, it's just the most. It's like, this should be a gimme.
Yeah. Anyway, so it didn't much matter at the end of the day. Even if he like totally wiped all that stuff that was back there that he was trying to, it wouldn't matter because the rest, like, he barely killed anything in my army, so it was enough to just table him. But we did play a new chapter approved mission, the supply drop.
That's so much fun.
It was really fun.
Yeah,
just the random element with there's 6 objectives, but only 2 of them are real, but you don't know which one it is until the 3rd turn. So that random element made it neat because you needed to cover the board because you weren't sure where it was going to go.
Yeah.
And so it was good.
Do you remember playing that game?
Yes, I do. I do remember that. I remember like finishing turn 1 and being like, we don't know what's what yet.
Yeah.
When does it reveal?
Start of turn 3.
Yeah. And that's funny. I think they did it especially because in a lot of 40k games, especially if you're like trying to get like to the upper tiers of competitive, like the game's over turn 2.
Yeah.
It's just over. It's just like, oh wait, we have to wait till turn 3.
Which I hate about the competitive scene.
Yeah.
Game's over on turn 2. Number 1 because of time. Like, but also it forces people to design alpha strike lists that can't endure to the end.
Yeah,
don't have to.
Which is why I like this list. Which is why I really like that mission.
Yeah, totally.
Anyways,
sweet. Nick, your turn.
Yeah. So yesterday I played a 30k game against Graham, the Dank Angel himself. He brought. It was the first time.
I hope you're here tonight.
That I've ever played against the Dark Angels in 30k. He had a great list, like a very all-around list. They have a Rite of War. For anyone who's not familiar with 30k, Rite of War is just like makes your normal Space Marine Legion unique, called Iron Wing Protocol. So in 40k they have Deathwing and Raven Wing. In 30k they have Raven Wing and Iron Wing. And Iron Wing is all tanks, all the time. At least half your units have to be tanks.
so good.
Everybody has to be mounted in a transport if they can be. No, they have to be mounted in a transport. You can't take model units that can't be mounted in a transport. And
or deep striking or something.
no, they have to.
They have to.
And dreadnoughts get tank hunter. So he takes 2 dual carries pattern assault cannon dreadnoughts and just shreds armor.
That's really good.
Yeah,
Because you're adding 1 or re-rolling? You're adding...
You're
what's
re-rolling.
tank hunters?
You're re-rolling armor pen. So we're going back to this.
Yeah.
You guys are going to have to...
Oh man, it's so bad. I'm playing a game on Friday. Oh, that's another thing for my games played. I was supposed to do a whole 3-game campaign with James last week, and he totally bailed on me.
I don't know, James.
Yeah.
There you go, James.
So
What a
we
real
rescheduled
piece
for
of
this
shit.
Yeah. So this was playing against Graham. Great, terrifying list. He had a Spartan with, the 8 Cataphractii Terminators and the Praetor. Land Raider with Breachers. The Vindicator Laser Destroyer array thing, which I love, but it's so scary.
Was it like 3 shots and like it can overcharge on itself, but
Yeah, so it's like Strength 9, AP 1, 3 shots, twin-linked ordnance.
yeah.
So it'll do damage. But I think Graham just wasn't used to 7th edition, because a couple times he was like, oh, my Spartan's gonna shoot at that thing over there. I'm like, your Spartan's weapons are pointing in the opposite direction. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you have to have line of sight with your guns in this game. And I was like, just turn your Spartan around. It's 14 all around. I don't care.
Yeah.
Just turn it around. Then he tried to do the same thing with his dreadnoughts. I'm like, just turn your dreadnoughts around, okay? I don't care.
Honestly, dreadnoughts should draw a line of sight from wherever they've got legs.
Yeah, but with the rear armor thing, it does matter. Yeah, but
Well, I mean, they could still draw a line of sight from anywhere, but they could still have a rear facing.
So there was a couple mix-ups there, but I was just like, just turn your tank around. I really don't care. But yeah, no, I just had hot dice rolls. Dreadclaws came down. They did their fire thing, where they come down and they do a strength 6 hit to everything within D3 plus 3 inches, and blew up one Dreadnought's arm, stunned another one, stunned the Vindicator Laser Destroyer, immobilized a Rhino, and stunned the other Rhino on the first turn. And I was just like, well, that was really good rolling.
Like, it's just... I was saying this on the drive over, that you're like, your list isn't an alpha strike. It just strikes like one.
Yeah.
It's just like, bam, first turn. It's an army, they're everywhere. And then it's like, well, at least I survived the first turn. Oh, wait, there's still an army. Like, it's nothing soft after that.
No, because you still got to crack open the Dreadclaws. Because I didn't get anybody out. I just put the Dreadclaws down and did the fire sweep and didn't get anybody out. So the second turn, the Contemptor Cordis got out, chain-fisted his Spartan, blew it up, and then my Palatine Blades were able to charge the Cataphractii Terminators and the Praetor and murder them before they could strike. But Dark Angels have some cool rules. They've got Exterminator, where strength 5 weapons or less get +1 to wound. So bolters are wounding on +1. Volkite chargers, like Volkite weapons, are wounding most Marines on 2s, which is super good. And I think if they have a bladed weapon, including not chainswords, but like a combat blade, if they're fighting an opponent with an equal or lesser weapon skill, they get +1 to hit.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, against me, he was like, oh, I get this. I'm like, yeah, you lose a weapon skill for being in base contact with my guys, so that's never going to come into effect. But I really want to see that rule take place, because you're like, you're a swordsman, it's super cool.
In combat? No, because he'd be hitting on 4s normally, even at -1 weapon skill. It'd still be 4s.
But the rule is it has to be equal to or lesser than your weapon skill.
Yeah, the enemy model has to have the same weapon skill or less.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick's whole army is just frustrating.
Yeah, but if it falters, you just run over it. And it falters all the time, as you know.
Oh, yeah. That's because I built an entire list that it's... Like, the ethos of my list building now is I gotta be able to take a punch.
Yeah. But, like, I actually was able to... Like, the one thing my list struggles with in 30k is dealing with armor value 14, because I don't have a single weapon over strength 8. I have lots of melta guns, but I get armor ceremony and anything. So the Contemptor Cordis blew up blew up the Spartan, and then terminated with Chain Fist, blew up his Land Raider, and I was like, that worked way better than it should have. So yeah, I was pretty happy with myself.
Sweet.
But I'm really looking forward to this event. Mike Kahn, John Tung, Chaz, and myself have put a ton of work into this Horus Heresy campaign in a day. So, hope you guys have fun when you come.
I won't.
Okay.
I'm going to ruin it.
That's fine.
For a lot of people.
Okay.
Jerk.
That's me.
So, time for another beer?
Yeah.
Sure.
And, is that it for that first segment?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, what do we got? And then let's take a little break.
The night is quiet. You're sitting on the deck with your friends enjoying the warm air as it blows gently in off the lake. Everything is calm. Then someone yells, "Let's go skinny dipping." Chairs scatter, clothes are cast aside, and everyone runs madly for the lake. A soul-nourishing as a naked midnight swim. Sawdust City's Skinny Dippin' Stout is a full-flavored, velvety smooth oatmeal stout. Black as oil and crammed to the brim with luscious, decadent flavors of chocolate and roasted malts. This massive ale is delightfully sinful. So go au naturel and enjoy this all-natural ale today. Hurry, because you don't want to be the last one in.
I don't want to put that in my mouth.
Paul's aroused.
Yeah. All right, and here's the word from our sponsors. Battle Brothers Studios, a commission painting service passionate about making your miniatures and your gaming table look great. Our philosophy at Battle Brothers is this: your army is our army. Every model will be something you can be proud to show off. Send us a message on facebook.com/Battle Brothers Studios for a free quote and make that dream project come to life. We also have something special planned for the release of 8th edition of 40K. Right now, get 20% off if you commission us to paint an 8th edition starter set, or get a 10% off Army Bundle bonus for painting up your new 8th edition 40K Army. Inquire with us on Facebook for full details.
You know, when I'm not cracking cold ones, I'm popping paint pots and putting brushstrokes on miniature figurines. And you know darn right that I'm getting my supplies from the warpainter.com, a hobby store in the Great White North. The warpainter.com is Canada's greatest hobby store for all things hard to find. Scale 75, Broken Toad, the Army Painter, and Valet Ho. All supporters of Encounter Wargaming get 10% off their first order with the code EWG10. They got you covered.
And we're back. Let's jump into our main topic of the evening. Faction focus, Adeptus Custodes.
Oh, yep, that's what we're gonna do. I just need to get my
Tool for the other thing that we do on the podcast. The honor is mine, I guess.
Yeah.
You've made the choice.
You never crack them.
There
Solid.
it is. That was a good cling.
was.
So this is Shapeshifter. It reminds me of the... does anybody know Animal Liberation Orchestra?
I know the ALF, the Animal Liberation Front.
So this, these guys are buddies with Jack Johnson. It's a band called Animal Liberation Orchestra, and they're hilarious, but they do a song called Shapeshifter, and it just totally popped into my head just now. Anyways, this is a sour IPA. I'm a fan of sours, and hipsters have generally ruined IPAs in the last 6 months to a year, but I have high hopes for this one, because it's also a sour. Pass me your glasses, boys.
Woo! Woo! So we're here to talk to you about the Boys in Gold.
Yeah, and if you have not participated in a faction focus previous, we generally talk about some fluff. We then just scroll through the codex and talk about warlord traits, stratagems, our favorite units, psychic powers if that is a thing, and and then that's it.
So maybe Paul can answer this question. Paul, which came first, the Adeptus Custodes or the Custodes?
The Custodes.
Okay.
Back when they were the Legio Custodes.
Yes.
So they were the first sort of creations of the Emperor.
Before the Thunder Warriors?
Before the Thunder Warriors.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know that.
So they're more Baroque. You take an infant and you start doing it.
The genetic enhancement.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
not anything weird by doing it.
Yeah. No one ever thought that. We won't even go down that road. So they are highly specialized. So basically, if Space Marines are Hilux trucks, an Adeptus Custode is a Bentley. Everything's handcrafted, they're just
all the weapons, all the armor.
Yeah, they're artisanal war monsters.
They gotta be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were some of the earliest creations of the Emperor, but they take so much time that to unify Terra, he needed something more mass-produced. That's where the Thunder Warriors came in. Eventually, he refined the Space Marine process, and all the Thunder Warriors were kind of put to the sword.
I thought they died out, because I thought the Thunder Warriors kind of ran hot from a genetic standpoint.
So that was the idea, that they would never survive. However, in...
Oh, yeah.
Is it Unremembered Dead? Or anyways,
we're Corvax.
Right. They find the Thunder Warrior, and he recounts this battle where all of the Thunder Warriors were killed by the Emperor. So this is like in the Horus Heresy. That's when you first get the idea that maybe the Emperor views his soldiers as tools and not brothers in arms.
Yes.
But
we've talked about that on the podcast.
Right.
Interesting.
The Custodes,
they totally say that they were genetically predisposed to die in the Codex and the fluff.
Well, because the Space Marines, like if you read the 30K books, the Space Marines know about the Thunder Warriors, and then when they talk about them, they talk about how we're better than them. They were designed to die off. We were designed to inherit the Empire.
Right. So this is what has been purported as the truth, but it's not actually.
Yeah.
And
right.
So then we see. I guess we're getting glimpses of the real truth in these books here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Custodes, no one knows what the upper age limit of a Custodes is. Functionally, they're immortal, I guess, until they die, which is very rare in the fluff, depending on who's writing it. Because sometimes you'll have a Custode take out most of a squad of possessed Marines.
And then there's one time that Argyltal kills 2 Custodes.
Right. Now, that one's different.
Who's that?
Argyltal was the first possessed.
Okay.
From First Heretic, that might be the most accurate, or the most sensible.
I really liked how they were portrayed in that.
Yeah.
Because they were even friends with the...
They made friends. Yeah. And just the last scene of, I forget what his name was, but there's a word bearer's chaplain that this guy can't stand, and he just throws his sword through his face
as he's dying.
Yeah. And he's like, that's pretty good. What a great way to die.
Yeah. And then from what I remember from the Custodes, I can't remember where I read this, but where the Astartes are trained and brought up to... One Astartes isn't the be-all to end-all, but a legion can destroy anything, and a squad has to work together, and that squad has to work with the rest of the army to be an effective fighting force. The Custodes don't have that brotherhood built into them. They're very individual fighters, which, as we'll talk about in the rules in 30K, that's a very cool representation in the rules where their coherency is actually 3 inches instead of 2.
Right. 10 Custodes warriors is 10 times as effective as 1 Custodes warrior.
Yeah.
Where 10 Space Marine warriors are 100 times more effective than 1 Space Marine warrior.
Yeah.
They function better together because they are a brotherhood.
Each Custodes is fighting their own battle.
Right. They'll help out maybe.
Yeah.
But I think it's also First Heretic where some of the word bearers are watching them fight, and they're like, "This is wrong. This is anathema because they don't have each other's back." But so after Dorn finds Dad and puts him in the Golden Throne, the Custodes become that in name. So they're no longer a fighting force that accompanies the Emperor or acts as his agents. They maintain the defenses of Terra.
Can we go back one second before?
I'd love to.
Yeah. So when the heresy was first starting out, and especially during the Council of Nicaea, the Emperor sent Custodes to each separate legion as well.
Yeah.
And that's where I was first introduced to them as actual characters, because the Custodes show up in the Unremembered Empire as well.
In the what?
The Unremembered Empire,
Okay.
which is like Imperium Secundus, when Guilliman is a heretic, but we just ignore that.
The Rune Storm cut up. They had to make do.
Doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It's all good. Yeah, but one more thing before we jump ahead post heresy. One of the coolest things I like about the Custodes is every time they accomplish something or do something cool, they get a new name, but it doesn't replace their old name. It just adds to their existing name. So, like, Constantine Valdor's name is, like 8 books long.
Yeah, and, like, it's alleged... I think someone said that it's all inscribed on the inside of their armor, so they carry their deeds everywhere. Which is kind of interesting, because in this new codex, they highlight the idea of the eyes of the Emperor. Which, when a Custodes becomes crippled, because, you use a war machine enough, it's going to break. If something happens where they can't fulfill the office of a Custodes, they take off all their armor and, like, they leave it in the armory. They take any vestments of the office of the Custodes, and they become spies or just watchers for the Imperium. So they insert themselves into societies or...
giant 8-foot tall people. It totally blended.
Yeah.
Dude, it's the... It's 40K.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, there's mutants around.
yeah.
There's the whole genome wars and all that kind of stuff. There's stuff happening.
Yeah. Also, there's a really cool story focusing on the Blood Games, called the Blood Games. The Blood Games are the Custodes' responsibility, where they test the defenses of the Imperium, specifically Terra. And Blood Games is set around when everyone's finding out about the heresy. That's really interesting. And it like shows an unarmored Custode punching his hand through like what is essentially an ogre, like just like jamming it right in there. And he's like, go ahead to kill him.
Let me try it out.
Yeah, I thought I could do it, so I just did it, and it was as dope as I thought. Like that's. But okay, so to go back before the aside, when Dornfine's dad puts him in the Golden Throne, the Custodes start to take care of the defenses on Terra, and they rarely leave. Now, there is the whole thing with the battle in the webway.
It's not like they're standing around mopping floors. They're fighting the biggest demonic incursion ever.
Yeah, so in the bowels of the Imperial Palace, there is a demonic incursion that is in the webway, and the Custodes like swap in and swap out like constantly. That's what they're up to. That's one of the reasons they don't leave.
Thanks, Magnus.
Yeah, way to go. Listen, Magnus did nothing wrong.
It's true.
Oh, is that something that's still occurring, or they eventually shut that thing down?
I think they sealed it off.
Yeah, because there's that part where Guilliman like sees these like 100-meter doors, and it just sounds like hell back there, and they're kind of like, well, we got hell back there. Like, that's what that is.
So I wonder how you. So like these huge doors, and they just seal this thing off.
Yeah, I don't
and they're
know.
like, we don't know what's happening back there. We're not opening those doors ever, kind of thing.
Sort of.
Okay,
I think so. I'm not
I
sure
wonder how you construct those kind of doors, and like you have to send in a fighting force just to hold people back once you finally have it constructed to then
Why
seal
would
it.
yeah.
Why wouldn't
So-
you just make the whole Imperial Palace out of doors made out of the stuff that doors is made out of?
Okay, well, we're just gonna listen. We can get into recursion all you want.
Finite material, Nick.
Stop.
Very expensive.
Stop. So then
It's just Psyker bones.
it's all Psyker bones.
Round up Psyker bones.
That's the Imperium's answer to everything. Just I don't know, Psyker bones. What would you do? Would you use Psyker bones?
I
I'd
mean,
use
they have
Psyker-
enough Psyker bones.
Oh, there's so many Psyker bones. There's whole black ships filled with Psyker bones.
They could totally, with the amount of Psyker bones they have, grind them up and make like Psyker bone cement and like Just craziness.
Microphone bullets?
They have those.
They do.
But so then that's what's happening between like M31 and M41.
Do they get involved in the fight against the Beast?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I didn't read all of that.
I think they're dealing with their own shit.
Yeah. But so Gilliman shows up during the Great Rift, and the Great Rift kicks off the incident. What?
The Great Rift.
Great Rift?
The Great.
Sorry, I've been listening to a lot of Elephant, and that's a really good band for sweet riffs. So if you like Chugga Chugga, check out Elephant. But yeah, so the Great Rift happens, and while not directly involved with it, Terra kind of feels the effects just because of the fact that the Astronomicon is focused there.
Yeah.
So people go nuts. Doomsday cults are popping up. Terra is actually thrown into chaos, and the Custodians, it's their job to go and make sure that doesn't happen. So they've got like a planet-wide thing on their hands. And during this chaos shows up.
As capital C Chaos shows up.
Yeah, capital C Chaos, and there's a Khornate incursion on Terra itself, and they reach the Lion's Gate, which is the basically
like an actual planet fall.
Yeah,
not from below.
No, they're on Terra.
Okay.
And there's a battle at Lion's Gate, which is before the long promenade that leads to the Eternity Gate. I think if my geography is correct, my fake geography. But point is, the Lion's Gate almost falls, and the lead of the Custodes realizes that we can't wait for these things to come for us. And Gilliman's like, totally right, guys. You guys want to go out and do some dope shit in space? And that's where we are now in the fluff. There's a bunch of cool exemplary battles, and it's just I'm not going to go through those because I feel like we've gotten into enough fluff right now.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Yeah, that was a great job.
Yeah, it's almost like I've been practicing. But there are a few cool ones which kind of show the flex that a Custodes shield captain would have. Where there's one where they find a Gene Stealer cult, and the Custodes are like, we have this. And the Order of Xenos is like, we're going to send in a Death Watch team. And the shield captain on duty is like, no, you won't. You're not going to do that. And he's like, I'm an Inquisitor. And he's like, cool, we're going to take care of this. And, he doesn't let anyone look at the relief at the back of this temple where it's tendrils and talons all pointing towards Terra. He's like, no, this thing needs to be burned. So it's the Ordo Xenos is petitioning him, and this shield captain's like, no, I have authority. That's the kind of imperial writ you're dealing with here.
He's like, do you know who I am?
Yeah. So that's they're the big swinging dicks in the Imperium. So yeah, and there are a bunch of cool exemplary battles. Find the Codex, buy it, check it out.
Yeah.
So yeah,
great job. What should we talk about next?
Well, any
rules. So I know we're talking about a new codex that came out, but this is a great opportunity because I just realized this. This is the newest faction.
Yep.
For both game systems, for both 30k and 40k. It's the Talons of the Emperor. And let me tell you, I've played them. They're nasty. They do a great job of representing them on the tabletop in 30k. They've been out since last year in the Horus Heresy game. But it's just a lot of fun to see Games Workshop really catch up with Forge World in terms of this stuff.
Well, it really speaks to finally getting the idea of why Forge World would exist.
Yeah.
Because it just felt like they were boutique miniatures as opposed to semi-boutique miniatures of Games Workshop. So, I don't know, now the quality, difference makes sense. There's smaller runs.
There's still a lot of, communities out there that ban Forge World.
Yeah, which is weird.
Which is so weird.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense anymore.
But I think there might be a lot of people who disagree on the quality level these days.
Dude, that
Space Wolf.
That Space Wolf Praetor was the worst thing
Did
they've
you guys
ever
see
made.
the upside down bolter sights?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
People went crazy over that, and they were like, "This is intentional."
No,
And-
they said this is intentional, but then someone emailed Forge World, and the Forge World guy responded by saying this was an accident. So Forge World came out and said, so you know how bolters have like the sight on the top?
Yeah.
On the Grey Hunter's upgrade pack, it was on the bottom of the gun, and people were like, "What the hell? This is ridiculous!" Like, and then people are like, "It's not an iron sight; it's a laser dot sight. These are bolters; they don't have an iron sight. You're being ridiculous."
Yeah.
So Forge World on their community page said, "No, that's how they're supposed to be." Because, Grey Hunters can fire them like pistols, and then someone emailed Forge World Quality Control, and they're like, "We're fixing it in the next batch."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's really funny.
That's funny. Yeah, I heard that guy quit his job because of all the
Oh, God.
because of all the pushback.
It was ridiculous.
I don't know if that's true or not. That's totally hearsay.
You know what? They looked cool.
Yeah.
They looked
Which
cool.
they-
The gun, like the
did
iron
look
sight,
cool.
looked different and cool. I don't see the big deal. What really bothered me was that Space Wolf's character I showed you guys.
Yeah.
The
With
Praetor?
no pistol grip.
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
worst thing I've ever... Like, I wouldn't expect that. I feel like with enough time, I could sculpt a better thing than that.
Yeah, we can't expect that level from Forge World. We have to expect more from them.
Not when you're paying £30 a model.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
We have to expect more from them.
Yeah. But besides the fact, the models, I think the Forge World models are definitely better than the Games Workshop models. I quite like them. They have a different aesthetic, just like a slightly different aesthetic. I find them, like when I see them in the Codex, they seem bulkier, whereas the Forge World ones seem more lithe and streamlined, especially the jet bikes.
Yeah.
Like the Forge World jet bikes are long, sleek shafts, and the Games Workshop ones are just like stubby pop can bikes. They don't
I
look,
kind of like both.
Yeah. Both are good.
Yeah. I
they're
actually.
but they're different aesthetics. They're very different aesthetics.
Someone
Yeah.
help me. No. So what is this? Bourbon whiskey?
I brought a flask of bourbon. It's Knob Creek. It's a delicious Kentucky bourbon.
Did you bring this just so you can say, haha, these guys sucked on my knob?
No. God.
Okay, good.
Oh my god, Adam. Okay.
I would never do that. That knob was a gift from a dear friend of mine. And I wanted to share it with other dear friends.
So this isn't even your knob. This is someone else's knob?
It's a knob that I'm in possession of, and I was expected to finish. Just get it down your neck.
This is horrible.
Actually, it tastes delicious.
Just one quick note on the models. I love that this is basically the first set of plastic miniatures that is cross-compatible as well.
Yeah, the
Yep.
first purpose ones.
Yeah. And today, which is very, very, fortuitous for us. No, I'm okay. I gotta drive.
Cool.
And if I smell like bourbon, it's a terrible idea.
Oh, it was a really bad idea.
Today,
It's a
and
good knob.
it's a great thing you said that. Today we got beta rules for Forge World only models, Dreadnoughts and the Grav Attack skimmers that the Custodes use in 30k for Custodes in 40k today, which is totally awesome.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
you.
I wasn't sure because I was doing a bunch of stuff today and I couldn't focus on it when I saw it. But did you see? Did they release like a submit your potential rules
Yep.
form?
No,
Yeah,
they wanted feedback.
Okay, feedback on the rules they made.
Yeah, they're not saying like right.
Because they're beta.
Right. Okay, but they did allow you
I'll-
essentially to make
I'll read it to you.
rule suggestions on those models, and because there was like submission categories of like, why would you write this rule this way?
Yeah, so as well as acting as a taster for things to come, this is an opportunity for fans of Warhammer and the Adeptus Custodes to playtest rules for Forge World, contributing to the game you love. While we appreciate all comments and suggestions, in practice we find the actual experience of games played is worth a great deal more than the theoretical. Great. If you would like to contribute to the playtesting of these rules, follow the instructions below. Use the subject line FW Custodes. Note that you must use headers below to provide us with feedback. So you have to have the unit's data sheet, which this feedback refers to, the number of games played using this unit, and the faction keywords that you played against.
which is great. This is a great way to do
Oh,
this.
they're
The item of war gear or ability to which this feedback relates, suggestions relating to the above unit's war gear or ability, and suggestions regarding the points values for the units and its abilities. And it's like, if any messages not in the above format or not related to the units in this preview pack will be discarded.
Yeah, like, set expectations.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, people who care will follow the instructions,
Oh, 100%.
right? And they should feel free to just say, if you can't take the time to do this properly, then get out of here.
Yeah,
you know?
go on.
Yep.
Go on.
This is super cool, and you know what? I'm just gonna throw this out there. You guys can totally disagree with me, and that's fine. If they do this for all of 30K to port it over to 8th, and they just do a huge crowdsourcing community, if they community crowdsource all the rules to port it over to save time and manpower and stuff, that would be amazing.
I don't want. I mean, I want like an actual 7.5 for Horus Heresy. I don't want 8th edition.
Just fix 7th edition altogether.
Yep. That's what I was really hoping for in the rulebook.
And they could add in cool things like, so they could keep, like, for one example, they could keep vehicle facings, but add in, like, tanks can shoot different targets, and, I don't know, change it to wounds, but still have facings somehow.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
No, I'm with you. It's just that crowdsourcing for me feels like you're getting the lowest common denominator, and I don't know if
That's a gas we've done.
yeah, and I don't know if we want to encourage that.
Back to what we're talking about, though.
Yeah. Another podcast.
The good
Topics
podcast.
is maybe next week.
No, next week we got to do the after the the doubles event.
tournament.
Doubles
No,
breakdown.
As our main topic?
Yeah, that was our main topic.
Okay, sure. whatever.
So yeah. So now we have a new
Good idea,
codex.
good idea.
Why not, bro?
So we actually saw
Get on.
the Talons of the Emperor in an index.
Yep.
Originally, so they were dropped the minute 8th edition came out, which was pretty cool.
Like they were there for 7th for a minute.
Oh, that's right, they were.
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine how pissed off you would be if you bought Talons of the Emperor for 7th?
Yeah. And now they're in 8th. So, like I said earlier, a couple things in 30K. They have a 3-inch coherency, which is really cool because you can really stretch them out. Their shields grant you a rerollable 5-up invulnerable save, or if you're a shield captain, a 3-up rerollable invulnerable save.
Like, that's just stupid.
No, it's a 4-up.
No, because you give him a cyber familiar and it's a 3-up.
Yeah, but you didn't mention the Cyber Familiar, so you can't just say it has a
That's
3-up.
That's fair.
Let's call it.
Lots of like heavy duty, high strength, low AP weapons with lots of shots.
Which low AP is good in that game.
Yeah, in 30K it's really good. And terrifying dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts that do 4 AP1 las cannon shots where every penetrating hit cascades into another penetrating hit on a 4-up.
So good.
Just so dumb.
So, Nick, what are the army-wide or like the faction-wide rules for the Custodes in 40K?
I feel like we had a 10-minute spread between like when we
Yeah.
first proposed that and now we're actually going to read it.
There's two very cool things. So
Someone's got to keep it back on track.
Well done.
Like, I love the guy. I do.
that was you guys on that tangent.
Was it?
That was not me.
I was
It's
like,
true. I pulled that one off track, which is rare, but it was
Yeah.
me.
So
Damn it!
So all Adeptus Custodes units, if they have this rule called the Aegis of the Emperor, get this special ability. 5-up invulnerable save, pretty awesome. Also, they don't have any Psyker defense. They have no Psykers of their own, but they have a 6-up feel no pain against mortal wounds.
It's real good.
Really good.
Which is interesting. They decided not to give them just a 6-up feel no pain. It's
Well,
interesting they made it
it
specifically
would
mortal
slow
wounds.
the game down so much if you have a 5-up invulnerable save and then a 6-up feel no pain.
I'm just saying it's
Yeah.
it's an interesting slant they took on it because they have never done that before. It's
Yeah.
unique, right?
Well, it's just like these guys are just more resilient. Like
Yeah.
their entire body has subsystems that feed into other subsystems.
Yeah.
And then, if your army is battle forged, so if you have a pure Adeptus Custodes detachment, You get the Emperor's Chosen and the Sworn Guardian special rule. So this is their chapter tactic. So this is infantry and bikers. +1 to your invulnerable save. So now
good.
all your entire army has a invulnerable save.
They should.
And every infantry unit or bike unit has objectives secured, that includes characters.
That's brutal.
That's really good.
Well, like, they need something like objective secured because you're going to have a really low model count.
Or they could have just kept it troops to encourage you to take troops and not 9 shield captains on bikes.
No.
Because that's the whole point of objective secured.
That guy's going to hold that thing down, bro.
Yeah, you could say that about anybody, though. That chapter master should hold that thing down.
Here's the thing that I just want someone... Like, I find 9 shield captains is going to happen. Like, I just want to look at someone and be like, tell me why.
Yeah.
Tell me why these guys that are normally in control of 300 legionaries, custodes, each. Tell me why they're all here together. And why are they all painted the same? Because they wouldn't be. Because, like...
They're all in a poker game, and then demonic incursion happened, so they all got up, jumped on their bikes, and went and fought.
But, like, that... And honestly, because I'll play it, like, it'll suck, it'll be... But, like...
Dumbest thing, yeah.
I think my only real problem with that list is, like, it sounds like it would be really boring to collect.
Yeah.
Yep. Here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
I liked it.
Nice. Love the extra little tinkle at the end. Okay, so this one's also from Halo, down the street from my house. A local microbrewery. This is a single hop pale ale called Test Pattern. They don't do funky explanations, so we'll have to make up our own. The only comment they have is best enjoyed fresh.
Cool.
All right, here it goes.
So I really want you to get your Custodes. Even if you wanted to play like a 1,000-point game, I want to fight the Custodes.
Yeah, I want to do that too. I think it's like...
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, my mind just blanked. But what we'll get into now is seeing how we did army-wide special rules. Your average guy, if there is such a thing as a Custodes, he's gonna be hitting on 2s with weapon skill and ballistic skill. They're mostly all strength 5, toughness 5, and like, I don't know, 2 wounds apiece?
3 wounds apiece.
3 wounds apiece?
Yeah.
Oh, good God. 3 attacks. Like, your average dude is just a mean guy.
With a 6-inch movement. They're not even slow.
Nope. Nor should they be.
Nope. I think in 30K, they, like, ignore difficult terrain or have move through cover.
Yeah, they have the Aegis armor, or the armor gives them move through cover.
Which is super cool.
Yep.
But this is back to my original point. These guys are good. Your troops are good. The point of objective secured is to encourage you to take basic grunts.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really need encouragement to take basic grunts in this army.
Yeah,
they're really good.
I think they put it in because the problem is you just don't have a lot of models, or like units in general.
Yeah, but then you end up with people taking.
Yeah. It is.
We haven't even seen it. Those are all theoretical lists. I mean, I'm sure it's going to come up, but it's going to have a counter. Like,
oh, of course.
Yeah.
Or they're going to get nerfed super hard, or the Supreme Command detachment belongs on Mars. Like, that's
yeah. So we're gonna do what we always do.
I mean, sorry, that fixes a problem. Getting rid of Supreme Command detachment. Like, that's so dumb.
Yeah.
Why?
There's no. I would love to hear the fluff reason for, like, here's my 5 chapter masters. It's like, cool, 5 different chapters? No, it's all the same. Oh, right, sweet. Yeah. I love your Back to the Future themed army. Get out of here.
No, we're getting to the real salt, which is what we were talking about before.
I was talking to Connor and Paul about this today, and they were like, yeah, this is the way 8th edition is. I'm like, so exactly like 7th edition was, right? Like, oh, we're back to 5 chapter masters in a list.
Dude, but we all feel a little bit better about it. Like, not as bad as before.
I had my hopes for 8. That was just like, it's just gonna, like, keep that stuff on the down low. It's like, wait, we're literally back to the exact same spot where the problem is the same.
That's
but everyone can
That's
do the
why
problem.
Hogtown developed its own comp.
I know.
So you don't get that interdetachment soup.
Yeah.
Like, we can have...
Oh, I know.
So it's more of a well-plated meal where it's like, oh, look, some protein of Custodes and a nice carby guard.
Did we have the no duplicate detachments as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah.
That one I like, and I think everyone should adopt it there.
Okay, so enough salt from the two of us.
Not even that salty.
3, to be fair.
Yeah. Three of us. Let's talk our favorite units from this book. So we do this every time. We pick one or two. Also, there are like not a lot of units in this book. So let's get started. Adam, why don't you start us off? What's your favorite unit in this book? What's your standout?
Yep, so I'm going to take the bikes because I'm just super excited about these models. I know you don't like them as much, Nick, but that's fine. I like
them. Just I think the Forge Roll ones are cooler.
Right, and I mean, Forge Roll should be cooler.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the fact that, they're continuing to pump out these plastic models. They're giving them cool rules, stratagems to boot, which I'll talk about later. But essentially, you're just taking a custodian guard and putting them on a bike, which makes them a little bit tougher. And now he moves 14 inches, right? So you take that guy who, what are they, normally movement 5? What's the standard movement on a custode?
They're 6. Yeah.
6? Okay. Well, that's amazing. But now you're adding 8 inches to that, and you have some really mobile.
Yeah.
They're dreadnoughts running around. They can move 14 inches almost.
Well, they're toughness 6, 4 wounds, come in units of 3. That sucks.
Yeah.
Like, if you got to deal with
a
it.
dreadnought's toughness 6, right?
Is it?
No, it's 7.
7? Okay, so a little bit tougher. But they have a 2-up save. I mean, like you said, Paul, they're hitting on 2s in combat and in shooting. You can upgrade them to have crazy missiles if you want, or just leave them with the standard Hurricane Bolter, which is kind of if there's any way that you're going to clear out mass amounts of infantry, you got a few bikes with Hurricane Bolters that are just going nuts.
And that's an important point to bring up, because that is what these guys are going to suffer against, which is mass infantry. Mm-hmm. Like, they are... Everything in the Custodes book kind of struggles with infantry.
With their 2-up save, 4 wounds, and 4-up invulnerable save?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that you're going to kill them.
You just need to be able to put out the hurt, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which these guys can do.
Totally. So now they have these interceptor lances, which are really neat. So it adds one of their strengths. So now they're strength 6 in combat with -3, so standard power weapon. But they do D3 damage, and you can reroll failed wound rolls for this weapon in a turn in which you charge. So that's a really nasty charge, right? And they're gonna get the charge off on these bikes, right? They move so fast. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. They can take these weird things called misericords.
So that's a misericord is the sort of
misericordia. Sorry.
Yeah, that is the knife that they're given when they become full-fledged Custodes, and it's like a sort of a power weapon, and it represents that you are you're now authorized to take life in like command of the Emperor.
Got it. So basically, every model in this army has one of these.
No, like they're
You can't take one if you have a storm shield.
yeah, but it's like that's the fluff of this weapon.
You can't use it if you have a storm shield.
Yeah, you've got one at home.
It's like a power dagger for the Alpha Legion. You just stab people with it.
You murk them. You get some.
Awesome. So yeah, the missiles, if you ever did want to take them, are they're pretty cool. They call them Melta missiles on the big one, and they can do flak missiles as well, which is kind of like the anti-infantry. So the Melta is heavy 1, strength 8, AP -4, D6. So it's literally a Melta gun without the Melta special rule with the rolling 2 dice on damage and picking the highest. So it's just you get the one shot at the D6 damage. Or if you go flak, which is pretty awesome as well, D3 shots
But
at strength 7.
you missed something.
What?
You can reroll wounds if the target's a vehicle.
Oh, reroll. Okay, that's what it says. Yeah. Neat. That's awesome.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Especially when you've got a squad of 6 of these guys.
Yeah. I mean, my ideal thing, which I'll get at later, is a squad of 10. So.
You're a bad man. That's
Yeah.
also like $180 a miniature.
Wait. Yeah, that's 50 power level.
It's 1,000 points for $200. That's not bad.
I guess if we're doing
I suppose, yeah.
So the flak muscles, D3 shots each is strength 7, right? So you're potentially getting way more shots at a little bit lower strength. Definitely lower AP though, only AP -1 and D3 damage. But you can they're anti-air, which is really cool. So you can add 1 to your hit rolls against models with fly.
So you're hitting flyers on 2s, everything else on 3s.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Because it's weird. It's like you add +1 to your hit rolls against. I don't know why Games Workshop did this for the rules for anything that's anti-air. It's you add +1 against flying units. And I remember playing against someone who was like, "Oh, so I get +1 against your flyer, so I'm hitting you on 2s." I'm like, "No, you get -1 for targeting my flyer, and then +1."
It's
so you're
just to
hitting on
cancel that
Yeah.
negative
But instead
one.
of being like, "This model ignores hard to hit."
Yeah.
I like that
Oh wait,
better
no.
because
Oh wait, no. I lied.
a Latok, right? We
No,
want
I
to be able
lied.
to fight against that.
Because it's all units that can fly, not just hard to hit.
Yes. Yes,
Right.
and jump packs.
So
But you're only
Things are
But-
in the sky.
yeah, and I was about to say GW is notorious for naming rules weirdly. So it would be like not fly, but flight, which is
yeah.
you know
They're also heavy weapons, so you do suffer the -1 to hit when you move.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
yeah, as you should. Come on,
Yeah.
these things need like a little bit of a downside.
But they hit on 2s against flying units,
Woo!
so pretty good.
Anyway, so it's just a neat little upgrade if you wanted to, or you could stick with the standard. Just do that Hurricane Bolter. Keep your points down a little bit.
Yeah, I think having 6 shots a guy at 24 inches and 12 shots a guy at 12
It's
is
so good.
It's good.
It's so good.
That's real good.
Yeah. So there you go. So I'll get on to why this compounds into my favorite unit later when we talk about stratagems and stuff mixing in. But there you go. There's a basic rundown. Paul, how about you? What's your favorite unit, man?
Man, I'm going to go ahead and talk about some Dreadnought. Sweet Dreadnought goodness. Actually, oh man, my phone
You
was...
need to load that up. Should we get Nick to go?
Yeah,
next?
get Nick to go real quick.
All right,
Sure.
you pull it up.
So I'm going to talk about
Get off of Tinder.
I'm going to talk
No,
about the
I'm good.
Terminators.
Okay.
The Adeptus Custodians. Although now that I'm looking at them, I don't know why you'd take these guys over the pikes. But they're cool. The models look really cool. Like they're heavy duty, bulky guys. They all have the Abaddon top knot going on. I guess
That's actually one of the things I was looking at those models and it's like when I build them, I'm not putting that top knot on there.
Can I have them so I can use them on my
your Reavers.
my Just Aaron Terminators?
I
Nice.
promise I will give you every top knot I don't use.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I kiss you on the mouth?
Please don't.
Okay. Good deal.
So these guys are basically cataphracti Terminators without any of the downsides. They have a Ballistus grenade launcher, which is a assault D3, strength 4, AP -3, damage 1 grenade launcher, which is pretty awesome, especially because that comes with either a Castellan axe or a Castellan spear, which is both a shooting and a combat weapon. So you've either got basically a mastercrafted bolter, which is a bolter with -1 AP, 2 damage, and then either a +3 AP -2 D3 damage close combat weapon, or a +1 strength AP -3 D3 damage close combat weapon with the Misericordia. And they have a special rule: was when this model piles in and consolidates, they can move 3 inches towards the nearest enemy character, even if it's not the nearest enemy model.
I love this rule. This is so cool.
Yeah.
Like you need to cut off the head of the dragon or the serpent, whatever
Yeah.
the saying is.
Yeah, and like that's sort of what these guys are for. Like just bomb in and wreck something up.
And they deep strike.
Yeah.
They have the God Strike pattern teleportarium chamber, which is just a normal teleportarium chamber.
From Golden Light.
Yeah, so that's a cool rule. But they are functionally identical to the bikers, except for 1 less toughness, and they're not as fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't get the cool guns that they do. You have different cool guns coming out of your spear.
But I think this army relies heavily on stratagems, which is going to be difficult when your models cost so many, and filling out a battalion might be a little bit tough.
Yeah,
But there is a stratagem that pairs well with these guys, which is why I picked them. Same reason as you picked the bikes.
Totally. And I'm excited to hear you explain it.
Yep.
And this is clearly the case. case in point to the fact that you need to pair this army up with a brigade of guard or a
Yeah,
battalion of guard or something like that.
You need to have a plan for this army. Like, I don't think they're going to function super well on their own. Well, like, no, they will, but they're going to get overwhelmed.
Yeah, I mean, it means you're pulling your tricks. Like, the cool tricks you can do with those stratagems, you're only getting them off once a game.
Yeah.
Right? And you want to be able to consistently do it, which is why you would pair them with somebody else.
So, first off...
Did you want the Forge World Dreadnought?
Oh, well, we're just going to run through.
Okay.
So, first off, I'm going to talk about how... When these guys first came out, GW bulked out their range with the Contemptor kit. The plastic one that they released.
The Battle of Calth one?
Yep. So it's hitting on 2s, degrades to 3s, 4s, moves 9, goes 6, 4. It's strength 7, toughness 7, so Contemptor, 10 wounds, a Contemptor, 2 up save, a Contemptor. It's got a combi bolter, it's Carisi power, assault cannon, pattern assault cannon.
Did you say greasy power?
Carisi.
Carisi.
Oh, Carisi. What? That's not how you say that.
Carisis?
Carries?
Carries? Oh, wow, I just had a brain fart.
Carisi?
I gotta stop.
There's no E at the end of it. It ends in an S.
Get out of here. I'm gonna edit all this out to look so smart.
Cheeky guy.
And a dreadnought close combat weapon, so it's not bad. It's got that 5-up invulnerable save. It is ignoring wounds on a 6. So just real quick, if a model has this, are they ignoring mortal wounds? Do they get 2 chances to ignore mortal wounds?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And it explodes. So that's the Venerable Contemptor as it stands. However, Forge World was cool and just released the Contemptor Achilles Dreadnought today.
Which you have one.
And I have one. I just finished doing it, so that's why I'm super happy. It's got 12 wounds as opposed to 10. It's got the same degradation chart.
Yeah.
So it's 2s, 3s, 4s to hit, 9, 6, 4 to move. But it's got the Dread Spear, which has a range of 36 inches. It's heavy D3, strength 9, minus 3 AP, D3 damage, which is pretty dope.
It's like almost like shooting last cannons out of your spear.
Yep. It's basically it is like it's
almost,
got but where this baby shines is in melee. So it's strength times 2, so strength 14, minus 3 AP, and its damage is D6. However, you can never roll anything that's under 3 becomes 3.
I love that.
So it's always doing D3. And it's got the I think it's Alastrium pattern bolter, which is rapid fire 2, it's strength 5, AP minus 1.
So it's a rapid firing heavy bolter.
Yep. And it has an impaling lunge. So anytime that you on a successful charge, what is it?
It has 2 storm bolters, by the way.
Yeah, it has 2 storm bolters. And
Every hit.
Yeah, every hit of 6 causes an additional mortal wound.
Wait, what? With what?
In combat.
In combat.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of gilding the lily and kind of bums me out because in 30k, on a 6 it did a D hit.
Yeah. But remember, 30k D is not very good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a strength 10, AP2, and...
No.
No?
It's the
What
D
is it?
table. So you have to roll, like, a mortal
Oh,
wound.
okay. So, yeah, on a 2 to 5, it's a strength 6 hit.
No, on a 2 to 5, it was a wound that you can still take an invulnerable save, feel no pain, cover save against, that causes D3 wounds. On a 6, it was 6 plus D6 wounds.
Yeah, so...
And on a 1, it was nothing. So a mortal wound that bypasses everything, that's pretty good.
It is pretty good, but, like, when you're already doing, like...
Yeah, it's not 6 plus D6.
You have
So
to
you
roll
can't
6
save.
to get that, though.
To hit.
Yeah.
And you get 4 attacks.
Yeah.
I mean, they're making it fit 8th edition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
But
Keeping it under control.
I just think that is a really... This unit belongs in this codex, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bummer that it's not in there, but...
It's also beta rules, but I'll let you use it anytime.
Yeah, because, well, we need to get that feedback to poor Forge World.
Let's do it, just so we can, like, participate.
Yeah.
So this is also the Atomantic overload is different.
Oh yeah.
Is that the explodes?
Yeah, so the explodes at each unit within 2d6 suffers D3 mortal wounds. 2d6 instead of 1d6.
Okay, so 7 inches.
Also, I was just reading the Falchions rules because I was just trying to figure out what's going on, and I found something really crazy, which I'm guaranteed is a typo. When the Falchion explodes, every model within 2d6 takes d6 mortal wounds, according to its rules, which I don't believe is correct.
Feels right.
I'm just going to bomb that thing forward.
I can't
and
wait.
I hope it explodes.
That just kills an army.
Yeah, no, it has to be a typo.
Yeah, we gotta send somebody.
Yeah.
Send them a message.
Yeah, is that every model? Are you guys out of your mind? So yeah, that's
Oh, like every model.
Just
that
like
unit of 10 guys takes 10 d6 mortal wounds.
no. That guy takes it's
I know.
yeah. So it doesn't. Actually, maybe that's what it is.
I don't know.
It might as well just be written like take a ball peen hammer and destroy your friend's models. Bam. Bam.
They started writing those rules into Age of Sigmar early on, like where
Oh
it was
yeah.
Yeah.
The goofy ones.
If you ever force your opponent to take a knee, if your beard's longer than your opponent's,
stuff like that, and you're like, is this the direction we're going, Games Workshop? Like, I know we're trying to get away from like super competitive play here, but this is a little extreme.
Yeah, thankfully it was just a stopgap.
Yeah.
So do we want to move on to dope stratagems?
yeah, man.
Yeah.
This is where this army comes to life.
Yeah. The one that I want to talk about is it Shouldering the Mantle?
Yes.
One of my favorite. It really hits home to the like flavor of this army, and that's kind of what I like. If your warlord dies, you pay a command point, and this guy becomes your warlord.
Yep.
So
and he
you-
gets a new warlord trait.
Yep. So that's a really fluffy thing to do, but also keeps you in the game. And if your warlord was...
It has to be a shield captain, though.
Oh, yeah. So it can't be a shield captain on a bike.
Yes, it can.
It says a shield captain. It's factual.
Keyword.
It's keyword.
Oh, okay,
right?
keyword?
So a shield captain on a bike would have shield captain keyword.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just that. But yeah, I just like this one because, they're there in an advisory capacity, and this Imperial Guard general just gets his head stoved in by a chaos mace, and this guy sees him. He's like, "I got this. I'll finish this," and just starts cutting people in half.
I mean, even a shield captain buddy.
Yeah,
He's like, "Oh right, I'm a custode. I can."
yeah,
deal
I
with
know
this."
exactly how to do.
Well, when
this.
you're taking 9 guys, you can hop that.
Oh,
you can hop
stop
that,
it.
You can hop it as many times as you have command points.
Yeah, but
So three
you gotta
times.
just let the 9 guys go, because that's a theoretical thing. That's not gonna happen to you very often. You're gonna see it once in a tournament that we all go to, and then you can complain about it. Now it's just
Even though you're planning to build a similar list.
three shield captains.
You can do 3 times.
Yeah. So it's that's a boogeyman. Don't worry about that.
I'm not worried about it. It's just a funny trope.
The Codex dropped 2 weeks ago.
To go along this one, this is not the one I wanted to talk about, but to go along this one, I really like it. The one, what's it like? Release the Lions or something.
That
like
was
that.
mine. Don't take that one.
Oh, okay. You can talk about it. Yeah. Sweet. Which pairs up.
But then
is it bikes?
It's the Terminators.
Just Terminator. Okay.
But
Okay.
here's something that completely makes the Terminators obsolete, because I was like, oh, the Terminators are cool because they have deep strike. The Custodes have the webway stratagem where you could just deep strike a squad of bikes for 1 command point. So the Terminators to me are why would you ever take these guys over the bikes?
They're going to get such a drop in points.
Yes, they will. So it's the standard 1 command point for 1, 3 command points for 2, which is really cool. And then, because you can do... or a Dreadnought. You can do a Dreadnought.
I can deep strike a
You
dreadnought.
can deep strike a Dreadnought.
Guess what I'm gonna do,
for a
Nick?
command point.
Guess
You
what I'm
can
gonna
do
do, Nick?
You're going to deep strike a command point.
Nick.
Yep.
Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do that.
There's no currency in command points.
Not at all.
Especially because the one I want to talk about is 2 command points. And you take the Alaris Custodians, and they each split into separate units containing a single model. Which is hilarious.
It shouldn't be 2. It should be 1.
Well, compared to the other ones in here,
Yeah.
it should be 1.
But they do all have objective secured, which is really cool.
This is true.
Yeah. But it still should be 1. But it's really neat. I love the idea behind that, especially when we were talking about the fluff earlier, when they're like, every custode is fighting his own battle, right?
Yeah.
It totally makes sense.
Scatter!
And I actually don't think it should just be these Alaris Terminators either.
No.
Yeah.
It should be, everyone would be really, really cool.
Yeah.
It's the fuzz! Scatter!
Cool. Anything else to say on that, Nick?
No, I think it's just really cool. I like the Terminators because I like the models and that particular rule. But for right now, their points, I think we're looking at...
A lot?
Yeah, there's 70 points a model plus the spear, which is 12 points, plus the grenade launcher, which is 0 points. So you're looking at 82 points a model.
As opposed to the bikes that are, what? Like 90?
They're 80 points a model.
No.
Yeah.
That is so brutal.
Yep.
So, speaking of bikes, let's talk about bikes. Here's my stratagems, which you need 2 of them to really pull off a dirty combo, but even one of them by itself is pretty awesome. So, Avenge the Fallen is 1 command point, and it is use it when you select an Adeptus Custodes unit from your army to attack in the fight phase, and then until the end of the phase, increase the attacks characteristic of each model in the unit by 1 for each model from that unit that was slain. Okay?
That turn.
Yeah. That turn. Okay, so this is my dirty combo that costs 1,000 points, and then you put in 1,000 points of guard or whatever to do it up. So you have a unit of 10 bikes, right? And you have your, what is it? Is it the banner that gives them another -1 to hit? Yeah. What's his buff within 6 inches?
What?
Huh?
Anyway, so to do just a patrol detachment, right? You have to get an HQ unit in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So anyways, either you take the shield captain, so your 2s are rerolling 1s now, or I think the Vexilla does something really sweet, like ups their invulnerable save or something like that. And so you take him, and you just throw this unit of 10 right in front of the enemy's army, and so they're going to attract a lot of attention if you're doing that, right? And so in your opponent's turn, everything shoots at them, right? Everything does, and they're crazy. They're like mini dreadnoughts each, right? So they're going to take a beating, and so on a unit of 10, to kill 5 of them is
That's a lot of firepower.
that's 20 wounds getting through a crazy invulnerable save and high toughness and all that, right?
Yes.
And so let's say you kill half of them, right? You still got 5 left. That means each model in that unit, if they get charged, has +5 attacks.
Yeah, someone didn't proofread that rule.
You're crazy.
For 1 command point.
Yeah.
And let's say you don't get charged. Well, now what do you do? Because you've popped that stratagem, right? You don't even really have to yet. You can wait and see. But you can pop 3 command points and do the stooping dive, which is basically choose an Adeptus Custodes biker unit from your army that's within 12 inches of an enemy unit, and you can declare a charge with that unit as if it were your charge phase.
So rude.
Yep.
There's more to it, but basically you charge in your opponent's turn after they've done all their chargers. So if they're like, oh snap, I know what your army can do, I'm not going to charge you. You're like, bam, 3 command points, I'm going to charge you then.
But 3?
Now you spent 5 command points.
No, 4.
5. Oh, 4. Yeah,
4.
'cause that's 2.
The other one is only 1.
Oh god, yeah.
Dude, that's... Actually, now 3 to charge out of turn. Yeah.
It's dirty.
And to strike first. That's the other part of that. It's not just charge out of turn, it's you strike before anybody else, unless they also strike before anybody else, like the Emperor's Children,
If
in
they
which
have
case.
strike first or something. Yeah. Like, so now you're charging in with your 5 guys out of turn with more attacks than you started with.
Yep.
Because each guy only has 4 attacks initially. If you lose 5 models, now you have 9 attacks per guy, which is more attacks than you would have charged in a full 10-man unit.
Yep.
That's so dumb.
But they really love the Fallen.
Yeah. So, those are my stratagems, and I think it's just hilarious.
Yeah, like...
And considering it's so cheap and points effective to build that unit and fast to paint it, it's like, well, why not just try it?
Yeah.
Just try it. Have some fun.
That's sort of exactly where I'm coming at. I was gonna collect this army no matter what. So now I think I know a little bit how Nick feels when it's like they just made it good.
Yeah.
It's like it was all stuff I liked, and then they were like, "Well, let's make it real good."
Yeah.
So I'll probably start going easier on Nick for that 1 point.
Yeah, it happens, man.
Yeah, for that 1 point.
Yeah, so there's actually... you guys all good for stratagems?
Yeah.
Shall we move on to, what is it, warlord traits?
I want to talk about...
Something cray-cray?
No, just their tactical objectives, because their tactical objectives are really cool.
Oh, okay.
So
that's what we don't normally do.
We don't normally do it.
Well, let's do it.
So one of their tactical objectives is score a victory point if no enemy units... no other units except Adeptus Custodes units are within 3 inches of your own Adeptus Astartes units. I can't even speak.
So if you
score 1 victory point at the end of your turn if there are no other units within 3 inches of Adeptus Custodes units from your army, with the exception of other friendly Adeptus Custodes units.
Right. So they're saying you get a victory point if no one's around you.
Including
except for your
allies.
own guys.
Including allies.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Right.
But you can't score that on your first turn.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's fun.
I like that, where it's just like, well, we've killed everything.
Yep. Also, just like a totally balls to the wall tactical objective. When you generate this tactical objective, your opponent chooses an objective marker. Score D3 victory points at the end of the turn if you control this objective marker.
Stuff like this is so rude.
Yeah, so that's fun. I like it. I really like those. I wish armies had more flavorful tactical objectives, because when I play Maelstrom of War, like, maybe I'll draw one faction-specific one, and I'm like, I like my faction-specific ones.
Yeah. So here's what the Praetor does. You choose the banner that is -1 to hit for any units within 6 of the banner.
That's going to be really dirty.
So now that big unit of 10 is -1 to hit. But you cannot not shoot at it. So there you go.
Please build a 2,000 point list so I can see what it looks like.
It's going to look gross. I'll do that tonight.
But I just want to see what it looks like, because if you're like, I have 3 units, I'm going to be like, okay.
Your 10 bikes is 1,000 points. Plus your Vexilla.
So we'll switch to warlord traits, just because that leads right into it.
Yep.
My warlord trait of choice is Radiant Mantle. Subtract 1 from hit rolls that target your warlord.
It's so good, especially like dumping it on a guy near.
Yeah, because now you're -2 to hit.
Yep. I mean, I like Emperor's Champion just because this is the way that I roll. You can re-roll the dice for the damage inflicted by your warlord's attacks.
Oh, God.
Just because I love making sure everything... Like, I love nuking stuff from orbit.
Yeah.
Because it's the only way to be sure.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's shooting and combat.
All the time.
So this one's kind of neat. Champion of the Imperium. Friendly Adeptus Custodes, Infantry, Biker, and Dreadnought units that are within 12 inches of your warlord at the start of your opponent's charge phase can make heroic interventions.
Which, what I would like to point out, is every unit in this codex except 1.
Yeah, the Land Raider.
Yeah.
Aw, poor Land Raider.
So, that's kind of fun. Yeah, there's your warlord traits right there.
Yeah, this, like, the only downsides to this army, and it can be easily mitigated with allies, to me seems like long range, because they can get outshot, and hordes, because they can get bogged down.
Not with, like, I don't think so. No, horde. Like, every unit in this codex has 4 attack space.
Yeah. But
You're only
like,
coming in with like 20 models.
Yeah, but most, like, hard hitting.
Yeah, they'll all
4
kill
attacks,
something.
yeah. Like, a Space Marine has 1 attack.
Mm-hmm. Which is so dumb.
Yeah.
A Space Marine has the same amount of attacks as a Guardsman.
Yeah.
That's so dumb.
I've been saying that for years. See, the problem is that when the rules were written, the Space Marines were the base that you built off of, right? So
Yes,
it was
you
like
can't
everything
go
was
guards
better or worse.
Yeah.
So
half an attack.
right. So it
Wouldn't that be hilarious? You have a unit of 10 guards. when you get
5 attacks. Oof. That's actually. Anyways, so if they had done it where it's like, well, a guardsman, a regular man or woman, that's your average, but they didn't do that. We got instead like juiced up super soldiers. They were our guys, so they're the baseline.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's right.
Hey man, doesn't feel right.
Yeah, doesn't feel right. Like, there's nothing good about your 10-man tactical squad charging in with 10 attacks.
No. Well, technically, they all have chainswords now, don't they?
Mm-mm.
No.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One guy has chainsword.
Well, it's a good thing that you've got, 8 other factions to draw from to buff them in combat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I just bring some Custodes now.
Exactly.
Cause I'm scum.
Yeah, that was totally an aside. I think that's basically the whole codex, isn't
It
it?
is the whole codex.
Yeah.
Good work, guys.
Are there relics?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
oh shit. There are relics.
Yeah, I didn't even think of relics. Like, I have to say, when I was preparing this, I was like, fluffs, units, the other thing, and now it's like, oh right, I gotta figure out relics.
Okay, yeah, what's the force multiplier relic here? A lot of stuff that improves your invuln save. So that's, the Auric Aquilus is the one you take on one of your shield captains.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To give him a 3-up invuln save and reroll failed charges.
You can take a Vexilla that makes all Imperium infantry units auto-pass morale within 6 inches of him. So, the...
Oh, they have a lot of relics.
oh my god, yeah.
Wow.
The Cultus... Sorry, not the Conscript Blob is back.
Conscript Blob is played out.
No, it's back, because now it's not the Commissar's rules, it's you automatically pass morale tests.
I can't wait. Man, oh
Yeah,
man.
they have you like to redeploy stuff, so they have a redeploy.
Yep, the Castellan's Mark.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm going to do. Just because I love redeploying. I hate commitment.
The Auric Shackles are kind of fun. Subtract attacks from enemy characters that are around you. And if the bear slays the enemy warlord, you can get an additional D3 victory points.
Not bad.
Yeah. I mean, anything that gets you victory points is fantastic.
Yeah, you gotta love it.
I mean, especially in game, like, in stuff like ITC games and stuff, where it's all victory points.
Oh yeah. So I mean, that's the codex,
Yeah.
you guys.
Cool. Yeah.
It's a good one.
It's a good one. Again, I'd love to see some more factions that aren't Imperium. Have that little Imperium keyword down there. It's just like, that's cool.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think the problem is that like most of the Xenos, with Eldar aside, don't share enough. Like, there's not enough to draw.
No, definitely not. Yeah. No, but you're just like, especially with the way that 8th is structured, it's just, again, going back to, we're fixing the problems from 7th. Remember when we were all started this podcast and we started talking about the problems with 7th and how allies was the biggest thing that we all talked about?
Mm-hmm.
We're back to that again.
Yeah, the Soup Armies. Yeah, the Soup Army got worse, but we all feel better about it because for some reason we just do.
Yeah.
Well,
I still do feel better about it.
Yeah. I feel like because from the ground up they were like, hey, be monsters to your fellow gamers. Don't forget, everything dies.
Yeah. I don't know.
You're just salty.
Not salty. I've been playing, like, I try, like, the tournament and then a couple more competitive style games that I've played in the past. I found myself not having fun. Like, I was trying to have fun. I'm like, I'm going to try to rise to this level and I'm going to play like this. And I was like, I actually didn't enjoy that.
In 7th or in 8th?
In 8th.
Okay.
I was like, that wasn't fun for me.
Yeah.
And, like, I did okay, like, pulling out ties, got a win off, doing okay, and it's just like, no, not fun. Not having fun against a lot of the armies that I've been playing against. Like, maybe I'm trying to switch my armies up, do some different things. Even when I win, it's like, okay, I won by turn 2 or 3. It's never been like that back and forth, and like it's not down to the 5th or 6th turn.
That's why you got to play me more.
Yeah, I know, that's true. But you never play. I think we're going on like 5 weeks now where you haven't had a games played section.
No, I had one last time.
I'm teasing you.
And I'm playing Connor tomorrow.
I know,
I'm playing
I know.
in the doubles Saturday. I'm playing in the Horus Heresy event the Saturday after that. I'm probably signed up for something else after that.
Yeah. So I'm going to make a point.
It has been a while.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
Let's be fair.
I know.
I'm going to make a point of playing more narrative style missions and more Maelstrom style as well.
Maelstrom's good.
Because I really like 8th edition Maelstrom.
We need more people to play Maelstrom.
And I think maybe for me, it's like to get out of the group of normal people I'm playing against. Because I just can't stand the Imperium keyword. I really can't.
Dude, I'll play my Necrons any old time.
Well, I'll play your lists are fine. It's just like you know, you're not picking and choosing the different detachments.
Yeah, because that's no fun for me.
No.
But yeah, I'm busting my Necrons out tomorrow. So
Awesome.
To make that all fit into the theme of the night, I think this is an army you have to play with other stuff.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's meant as such.
And so the disappointing part is this is probably why you started going down this track is because you have to ally this in. Like this can't be a standalone codex. It's kind of like great, more stuff to make general Imperium armies better.
Well, the one that it just kind of ticked me off was like we saw the Imperial Guard Codex come out. We saw the conscript blob be an issue. We saw GW nerf the conscript blob, and now I guarantee you the conscript blobs are back with that all Imperium units auto pass morale. It's
yeah.
like, oh, cool.
Yeah, right.
Awesome.
Just put your
Yeah. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, what was the point? Because now you can just be like, well, it's
daisy chain just conscript units on top of conscript units, and
Well, here's my conspiracy theory. If you want to put that tinfoil hat on,
okay.
people already own commissars.
Yes.
Not a lot of people own Custodes models.
yeah, sell some custodians.
Because like a relatively cheap, really dumb battalion detachment is 2 of those Vexillus Praetors, 1 with the -1 to hit, 1 with the auto pass morale, and 60 conscripts.
There you go.
So now you've got a -1 to hit the conscripts.
Hold on, no, I think the -1 to hit's just custodes.
Oh, it's just custodes?
Yeah.
That's not so bad.
The auto pass morale is Imperium.
Okay. Not so bad.
Yeah. It's definitely the case.
Yeah. But there's a couple
I don't
different
even go
things.
with
A couple of different things you can do there. You can throw Azrael from the Dark Angels in there, and now you've got conscripts with the 4 vulnerable save. That
Is this 4-up Imperium?
I think
There's no way it's Imperium.
I think it is.
Really?
All right. Well,
That's pretty nasty. If
Well,
that's the
no.
case-
Sorry, not Azrael. A Custodes Praetor, dude with the banner. He gives Imperium units a 5 and vulnerable
5-0.
save.
5-0. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Which, you're right, that's pretty nasty. Against 60 models, right?
Yeah, Imperium Infantry, 5 and vulnerable save.
And you have the -1? Let's just make sure.
It is Adeptus Custodes.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Here's a weird thing,
A
though.
Laytalk, what are they called? Conscripts? A Laytalk conscripts?
Here's the weird thing, though. The invulnerable save bubble is wholly within 9 inches, but the -1 to hit is just within 6 inches.
Because it's only Custodes, and
Yeah.
that's all Imperium.
Yeah.
So they're saying if you're going to take conscript blobs, you got to get them all inside this
Yep,
bubble.
for the 5-up.
yeah, and it's not
Which
like
is a good fix for that.
Yep.
Because now you can't string this conscript unit across the whole battlefield and expect them to just be invulnerable to everything.
No.
good.
But they still out-pass now.
Yeah. Either way.
Well, morale was never the way to deal with those. Flamers were the way to deal with those.
Yeah, no, it's still like, I killed 20 guys, there's still 10 guys left, whereas I lose 3 Noise Marines and I roll a 6 and the rest are dead. And you're like, cool.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Command
Oh.
point your 6.
Yeah, I know.
Also, your guys got to shoot twice. Also, they get to... Stop.
Nick's being whiny, eh?
I know.
All right, so
What
let's
happened? Who hurt you?
let's pause. That's the end of the main section. Let's come back with some
Yeah, what do you got for fun time?
fun time.
Alright, we're going to do a real quick and dirty fun time. So, back in the 80s, Games Workshop released a pretty sick game called Chainsaw Warrior.
And this is a video game?
This was a board game.
Board game?
So, in 2013, a company named Auroch Games released a digital version. You can find it on Steam. And I found this researching for our video games episode. So it's set in 2032, and the game sees the city of New York in dire peril as a strange phenomenon opens up in a municipal building. And it's known by the military that combat and research it as a spatial warping. And so it's essentially a gateway into another world. And through this gateway comes all sorts of monsters and creatures. And there's a being that is kind of influencing the world called the Darkness. And there are, in the game, like sort of character cards that you encounter that are cultists. And the art has like a straight up 8-pointed star on it, and there's like things called Agents of Chaos with a capital C. So this is perhaps the first bit of the warp on Terra. So the person that has to deal with this is known as the Chainsaw Warrior. And he's got a gun, and he's got a sword that's also a chainsaw.
Chainsaw swords!
Because in the 80s, Games Workshop couldn't handle the idea of a sword that wasn't also a chainsaw. And it's funny, because, like, then throughout other games, they would just drop in, like, Chainsaw Warrior. Like, so, like, there exists a model for this guy from Games Workshop, like, way back. And he is just, like, one of those weird bent-at-the-hip, like, elbows into his sides.
Double chainsaw swords?
No, he's got a gun and, like, a chainsaw, but it's, like, it's that pose that Games Workshop did really well, where it's, like, the shoulders are tipped away from the hips, and they're just sort of tucked their elbows into their ribs, and it's like, look, guns. So, yeah, that's just a strange little thing that I wanted to bring up on Fun Time.
Has anybody played this game? No.
So apparently,
I've never played it.
Jay played it. He said that he had it way back in the day.
That's funny.
Yeah, and like so you there's like a zombie deck where you encounter like zombies. There's house cards that are like the main encounters. There's equipment cards, and just so like you can get a new and more interesting chainsaw perhaps. And it's yeah, I just kind of want to spend like an afternoon or two and download the Steam version and just like see what it's all about. But it's cool to see that the idea of the warp has existed for Games Workshop for ages, and they've been kind of going back to that well. And I don't know. Imagine like every John Carpenter movie rolled into one. That's what this game is.
Is it so? Is the warp? Because I think Jay, if he was here, I just wanted to see if he was in the chat to like chime in on and contribute to this conversation. If he actually did own a copy, he's not there unfortunately, but he says that he would say that like chaos is purely a manifestation of the human mind, and that if humans weren't to exist, chaos wouldn't exist.
Well, it's true.
It is.
I don't think that's true.
No, it is. That's the base. That's why if Horus had won the Horus Heresy, humanity would have destroyed itself and chaos would have been defeated, because chaos wouldn't have anything to feed on. Because the chaos gods can't feed on Eldar anymore because they have their soul stones, which means that that's why Slaanesh feeds on Dark Eldar exclusively. So chaos needs human souls, or souls in general, to exist.
Yeah, and there's
Right. So, but it's not particularly humans.
it's sentient life that has like a warp signature. So
Which is-
Tau don't do it.
Tau don't do it.
So are they warp aliens?
Yeah,
Sure.
Like they exist in the warp no matter what,
yeah.
right? They would just starve to death if they didn't have humans. It's not
Yeah.
that sentient life was created, so then all of a sudden chaos became a thing.
Yeah, because that's how Slaanesh didn't exist throughout all time.
But
Slaanesh was
But
created.
that's separate from what I'm talking
But
about.
like
Yeah.
the way that the warp works is like it also does, because it's like it travels backwards in time.
It's eternal.
That dimension,
Which is outside of
that
time.
dimension's internal, but the entities within it might not be.
True,
Yeah.
but who knows?
Yeah.
Point
But
is,
all I know is that Slaanesh was created because of the hedonistic lifestyles of the Eldar. Right?
Yeah.
So the Eldar did drugs, had sex, and did whatever they did to create Slaanesh. They created Slaanesh
by accident.
through their negative aspects. Well, negative aspects.
Through
yeah.
their pleasure-seeking aspects.
Through their pleasure-seeking aspects. So, I mean, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility to say that Khorne was created by a civilization 1 trillion years ago that was really bloodthirsty. I don't know.
Yeah, warlike.
Yeah.
Now, oh god, what's the Doom breed?
Yeah, the first Doom... Doom breed.
Yeah, so, like, all signs of Doom breed point to the fact that it's Genghis Khan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, Genghis Khan?
Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
Well, it's an interesting thing. But, no, like, the Cabal made it quite clear that if Horus had won, Chaos would have perished.
Sorry, what's the Cabal?
It's like a UN of Xenos and humans that, like, kind of work behind the scenes. They're in the Horus Heresy. They're, like, a plot line that largely shouldn't have been developed.
I didn't like them. Although John Grammaticus having fought in World War I was kind of cool.
Yeah,
And
that's
him being a character in the Horus Heresy was like, okay, cool.
But, like, the Eternals, why? Why make it?
I liked the Perpetuals, I didn't like the Cabal.
Yeah. But, like, the Perpetuals are weird.
Yeah.
Point is, check out Chainsaw Warrior if you like. It's weird and has a guy with a chainsaw sword. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
I do it?
Please.
Nick's got a throat thing.
Yes.
Quick and dirty fun time.
Quick and dirty fun time. Quick and dirty fun time. Quick and dirty fun time.